about layoffs and how to prepare for it. But before going there, this is the benefit of having a conversation. I mean, I know, like the series of posts that I made for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. There's some information that came out that people had not looked at things at that perspective, because I noticed that so many people, like in the real estate space in Kenya, like came and they were talking and they were telling me this, and but there were certain things that people had not, like paid attention to, had not looked at, and I'm glad that we're doing that right now. The biggest takeaway from Mwai's interview to me, and I think everybody else needs to leave in the comments the takeaway they picked up. But to me, the biggest takeaway is avoid these high cost areas. Avoid these expensive areas. Expensive areas, we're talking, Kilimani, Lavington, Kileleshwa. The high ROI is in this, like satellite and outskirt spaces, and to me that to me was just the biggest takeaway, because you're talking about an ROI of over 20%. To me, I think that's a fairly good return on investment. And Washeke, I think Mike is trying to tell you to adjust your camera, ukae perpendicular, ukae square, although uko sawa na hata hiyo artwork hapo nyuma imeweza. Ni wewe ndo ulichora? Wewe ni mchoraji?
Yeah, I'm an artist.
Okay. Oh,
Is it better now?
No, it's good. Unaonaje? Iko poa?
Because iko sawa.
Okay.
I think I can work with that for now.
All right, good.
Hapa ndio editor hapo background.
Yeah. Sawa, so asante sana. So Washeke, karibu sana. Pole, like the previous segment took longer than we expected. It was a very heavy topic. So before we get into our conversation today, what was your takeaway from Mwai in that almost 2-hour conversation that we had? Washeke.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. I think the first thing is, staying away from Kilimani, Kileleshwa, and thinking about, just these are outskirts that people don't want, those non-Instagrammable places. I think that's where you're going to get that hurdle rate of, 15%.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was key, because a lot of the times when they're coming to market to us, they're marketing to us like Malindi or Kilimani, those places that everybody wants to be.
Amara Ridge.
Or Karen.
Amara Ridge.
Yes, or the places that we stay when we go to Kenya, those places that you stay in at Airbnb, those are the places that we also want to buy. But as we have seen, that's not exactly where you're going to get a better rate of return. If you are investing, you're always thinking about what is your rate of return. So I think that was an eye opener for me. And another thing, I didn't even know about the green card. That's something I never knew.
Permanent residency.
CEO. So I think we want to have her next time to dive deep into places we should be looking at, because our eye has been focused on Kilimani. So we need to definitely have her on a second session.
Yes, definitely we need to have her on a second session, and this is where I think conversation has its own magic. It has its own way of opening up things that people don't necessarily know, or understand. And I think because a lot of people were going to those high cost spaces, because that's where people go stay whenever they're on vacation. So I think even these scammy marketers, all these people who are coming to scam people in the diaspora, understood that, and they understood the emotional connection that people had to these spaces, and they took advantage of so many people. And that's the reason why, people are in the predicament they're in. But all is not lost. There's still a lot. And to me, beyond, I know we're talking real estate, beyond real estate, there's so many other investment opportunities in Kenya, which we need to find out. Because when you go to Nairobi anytime, you find so many foreigners. Not foreigners who are coming to visit, but foreigners who live in Nairobi. These are people who are making so much money. We need to find out what exactly it is they're doing, and what investments they're making, and we also go in and make those same investments. You know, like even beyond just thinking about getting a unit, we need to get into development, because, you know, guess who makes the highest rate of return? It's the developer. The developer has a very high rate of return. And in fact, the good thing about being a developer today is that you don't have to use any of your money. You wait for the people who are purchasing to pay. That's when you start building. That's when unachimba foundation. That's when you do everything else. But yeah, you know, that's good. And we'll definitely get Mwai to come back, but want to go into the topic for the day today, you know, which is, or rather the social segment topic for today, which is, we know that several companies here in the US have been announcing massive layoffs in the past few weeks. Now, the question is, how prepared are you? Are you if your company lets you go on Monday? We have Washeke here because she's the one who brought up this question earlier in the week, and I think a lot of people realize that actually I don't have a plan. So we're here to talk about, you know, like some of the things that you can do just to be ready. Not saying that it's gonna happen, but just to be ready in case it happens. Washeke, what are some of the things that people need to bear in mind? You know, like you're in a good job, you're employee of the month, you know, everything looks, you know, like you're gonna be there for the next 10 years. What is it that people need to have in mind as far as layoffs are concerned? Washeke.
So, firstly, I think is you have to be a very active participant in your career. I think I have learned with my career progression in corporate America, you know, from talking to people like Tapida and other career coaches, that you have to be an active participant. And I think one of the things we do is we network outside, so whether it's LinkedIn or where else, but we fail to network within the organization you're currently working in. I cannot overemphasize this. So this question about layoffs came up about because, you know, this past Monday, many of my colleagues were let go. It was a shock for all of us. So you come into work, you log in if you're working from home that day, and then an hour later you're in a meeting and, you know, you're let go. They shut off your access right away.
Wow.
Like, it's a shock. Granted, you know, people were given a severance package, but it made me start thinking, you know, what plans like do you have if you're laid off? And we've seen in the news from Amazon, not Amazon, Boeing to Yahoo. Everybody's laying off. I know the layoff is mainly being concentrated in tech, but other companies are doing layoffs. And as we move on towards the year, if the economy is not going to be stable, as people fear the recession is looming, we're going to have more layoffs. So I think one of the things, I mean, for myself, what I have done is, one, always making sure that I'm active participant at work, that I'm networking within the organization, that I participate in employee resource group. So like there are Black employee resource group, women resource group. Are you a member? Are you an active member? Because those are gateways to meeting senior level leadership, networking, and finding out, you know, opportunities that are in the pipeline, opportunities to grow your career. Like right now, I know someone, a colleague who was laid off, but she's gonna come back to work because of the networking she has done and being part of those employee resource group. She's, you know, everybody knows the skills she brings. She's been visible through those resource groups. So, I mean, you ask yourself, have you been doing that? And if you've not been doing that, it's something you have to think about. You know, a lot of us, and I want to say a lot of us African immigrants, we just go to work and we think our work will speak for itself, but you have to play that office politics, you know, participate in potlucks, even if you don't like them. Just go there. Just go there with your donuts. I was that person ilikuwa na amka asubuhi, you pick them, you cook the mahamri, chapo, kila kitu, and then people walk in with donuts and muffins. Hey, I mean, I stopped doing that, but I still participate, even if I'm not going to eat anything.
I was going to ask you that question. If you eat that food from, you know that mama who doesn't wash her hands in the show?
No, I eat anything. I will only eat something that's packaged, something from the store. Even if you don't eat anything, you know, let you be known like you're a team player, you know.
Do you participate in those puppy stories?
Yes.
Do you participate in those too? And cat stories?
They might not seem important, but they play a role. So make sure that, you know, you are seen everywhere.
Yeah.
Go once in a while, go to those happy hours. Even if you don't want to be there, go there.
Maze, those happy hours, lakini yenyewe, akia Mungu. Those happy hours.
No, and
anyway.
And I think that's a difficulty of especially most of us who come from different cultures, where we don't necessarily like participating in those events, in those activities.
But also, Ali, think about the happy hour. The happy hour is at a bar. If you don't drink, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's the insensitivity that.
To me, I think that if it's gonna be a team exercise, then let's take it somewhere where everybody can be included.
Yeah, that's the insensitivity. For me personally, I would never say that, oh, I'm not coming because I don't drink, but I always just find a way of excusing myself out of it. But I guess that's insensitivity that we have to live with this system that just maybe recognize a certain way of living in a certain lifestyle. And that's why, you know, Asheke is talking about as one way of trying to protect yourself is doing that networking.
Be seen.
Yeah,
basically be seen, whatever it takes for you to be seen. If it means it's when ndio ule mtu msewa kuandika zile ma emails, ama wewe ndio unafanya, what is it, those parties that people do in the office at the go to Costco and buy the shakuras. It's you.
And even
those
laugh,
things count.
And even laugh at those knock and someone says jokes. You know, even if they're not fun.
I'm telling you, those things.
Have a polite laugh.
Being personality nzuri, or being known as, you know, that person who always brings some, I guess I'd say, laughter or
a sense of humor.
Picks people up, especially on low days. It goes a long way. When it comes down to the sasa na mtu ameka chini na anasema, okay, I have to get rid of 4 warm bodies.
Yeah. So you're probably not gonna be one of those 4
because they're bodies. Like, hey, maze, huyu jamaa anatusaidia kwa ofisi bwana.
Yeah. You know, and that's a very important thing. And Tabitha here is saying that's so true. Asheke, you know, Tabitha has, you know, drummed in this for a very long time. And even for me, it took me a while to accept it, that it's not necessarily how hard you work, but it's that office politics and just how you make people feel that will matter the most. You know, like when it comes to such situations. So,
what a cooler conversationist.
Yes, so number one. And then Upper Stephen Batty says, Omosh has a point. We had a place where people went for smoke breaks. And funny enough, I saw people from there get promotions because they networked on those smoke breaks. And here you have Ali. You have Ali.
Who doesn't even know how to hold a nyota.
No, I mean, and me, I'm staying away from the smoke. I'm staying away from getting, like lung diseases. Secondhand smoke. And thinking that, you know, that's the right thing to do. But that's a good thing about talking. So now we know, like, the networking part is very important, you know, as a way to try and shield yourself, you know, like from layoffs when they come. Washeke, what other things should people also do to prepare for this eventuality? Washeke.
So, I mean, obviously, take risks at work. Volunteer for those projects no one wants to do, you know, and always at work there's a lot of certifications that employers are willing to sponsor people, but because it takes time, you have to dedicate yourself extra time. People don't always want to take them, but you take them. You're not using your own money, and you never know when you might need them. Nowadays, employers are now just looking at degrees. They're looking at what certifications do you bring.
CEUs and stuff.
Yeah, so make sure if your employer is sponsoring those, take them, because when you're going to look for a job, those are what you will need. And then for me, I'm always a believer, be prepared. So always have your resume up to date in your LinkedIn profile, because like those people that, you know, woke up Monday thinking they'll have a job. Like I have people who are like said, I'm retiring there. And then now they're set to retire in 2 years. They have to go back to looking for a job before they retire. Like if you didn't have your resume ready, now you have to start adjusting your finances. And probably when you were working, like last year, when your finances were not an issue, you could have been able to afford Tabitha to help you coach your, you know, your next step in your career. So investing, I think that's one of the things we don't do. You're willing to buy that pass that costs $1,000, but you don't want to invest to pay a career coach. So, you know, we have to do that. Be willing to invest in your career. Now, once you have done all that and, you know, you've been laid off.
Now, let's first pause, you know, like there at the career coach part, because I think this is one of those things, and, you know, I'll be very honest. I for a long time always viewed this thing of career coaching as a gimmick. Yes, I'm saying it. You know, like the way you have, you know, like life coaches.
Yes.
Nowadays, you know, you have coaches for everything.
Yes.
So there was a point in my life when I used to view those career coaches as gimmicks. But over time, as I've been listening to Tabitha Njeri, and Tabitha Njeri is one of the best, you know, like when it comes to that. You know, she's been giving out a lot of free content. And I think my eureka moment, you know, like came with her, you know, when I kept listening to her, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. You know, initially, you know, like when she started, because I've known Tabitha for a very long time, but when she started going public about, you know, like what she does and the coaching and all that, I was like, okay, and initially was, these are good talking points. But at some point, you know, like now things just started, you know, like flashing in my mind, like this is exactly what I've been going through at work. You know, like you're working hard, but you're not the one who gets tapped
the credit
on the shoulder.
Yes, correct,
you know, like to get a promotion. And I think preparing as part of a preparation for a layoff, because you don't start preparing for a layoff when it happens. You start preparing when things are okay. This is an emergency plan. It's like the fire truck. The fire truck just doesn't show up, you know, like when the fire starts. They're doing drills, you know, like when there's no fire. So to me, having a career coach is kind of like having that drill, so that when that fire comes, when that layoff comes, you have your resume ready, you have your LinkedIn ready, and you have, you know, like all the interviewing skills you need to have when you're going into an interview ready, such that when it happens, it's just about moving from here to the interview, and within record time, you're somewhere else. Washeke, back to you.
All right, it's important. So what was I? All right, so I'm saying layoff. So the layoff has happened. So hopefully, you've been talking to Ali about your finances, and you've been, you know, putting the maximum allowed in your 401k, your HSA, and your IRA. So now your finances are set. The next thing is, do you have an emergency fund? So ideally, you want 3 to 6 months, because that's going to shield you whether you get your severance package, or if you're going to be depending on unemployment, which we know unemployment only is going to give you a certain percentage of your income.
I have a story for unemployment in the layer. It's not guaranteed. Let me just put it that way. It's not guaranteed.
I
have a story about that too.
Unemployment is not guaranteed. Then the next thing is, hopefully you've been operating from a budget, or it's time to start one. So you sit down and you look at your expenditure, and you divide your basic, your necessities. So whether it's your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, and then your discretionary. So if you're eating out, if you like Starbucks, then you might have to start taking cuts. Or maybe if you have so many streaming services, maybe you have to decide you only have one, disconnect cable and just have the bare minimum. I mean, even if you're unemployed, you still need some entertainment, but you just need the bare minimum. So you're not hemorrhaging money. You're now on a fixed budget. You don't know when you're next gonna get a job and Yeah, that's my assistant.
No.
We like your assistant.
Your assistant.
Hi, assistant.
Assistant can really work.
Yeah.
Hi, assistant.
I love your assistant. I love your assistant.
So I think budget, like, I know a lot of us, if you ask them what is your budget a month, we would not even be able to say. So, so I think that's one of the exercises I started doing about 5 years ago, is just sitting down and knowing I must have this. This is just my basics. So, mortgage, utilities, and food. Ile ya kununua kahawa and going out to eat, that's not a necessity and does not necessarily have to be on my budget. Yeah. And that really helped me when coming up with a plan for my emergency fund, because it will be key. That's what will help you. Because even when you apply for unemployment, like Omosh said, it's not a guarantee you're going to get it. And also, it doesn't come right away. There could be a gap before you start getting it, and your paycheck has stopped. How are you going to survive?
Yeah, and on that unemployment note, Tabitha here is saying my second job in HR when I was 24 was contesting unemployment claims. Now, I personally have an experience where I met a Tabitha. So you see, the thing is, when I was young, I was very nonchalant about certain things.
Wait. Huh? You're trying to tell us that a contestant.
Yes. So this is what happens.
So a Tabitha is a person who's madhogodhaniering your complaint.
Now,
your claims.
When you file an unemployment claim, your employer can contest it.
Yes, has to agree to it.
Yeah, they have to agree to it, and they can contest it.
Mm-hmm.
So
contesting meaning.
So if you're laid off, you're eligible for unemployment.
Yeah.
But if you left voluntarily, or if you got fired for something that you did,
so you meet a Tabitha.
You meet a Tabitha. So what happened?
So Tabitha's a contester.
Yeah. So what happened in a certain job, and this was very stupid. World Cup was coming up.
Which one?
This was very stupid. Apana, no, this was 2006. This was Kitambo. World Cup was coming up, so I had calculated. Like there was no way, and at that time, that World Cup was, I believe, it was in Germany. That the 2006 World Cup, it was in Germany, and
because the 2002 was in Korea, in South Korea, Japan, somewhere.
And
else.
I think that was my it was my first World Cup in the US, and I needed focus. This is the World Cup. I needed focus. I did not need distractions like a job. Yeah. So what I did, so I did some calculations. I knew about unemployment. Yeah. Yeah. So I had done some calculations, and I just abruptly quit a job, and I knew that I was gonna apply for unemployment. I was gonna apply for unemployment, and I was gonna get paid. So I did apply for unemployment, and guess what?
You met a Tabitha.
The first check came in. The first check came in. The second check came in. When the third one was coming, because those days there was not even direct deposit, it was an actual check that you're getting. Now the third one, I got a letter that, it's due, I wasn't even understanding the letter. So I was told that I have to participate in this event. So there was a 1-800 number I called, and then they told me your employer is contesting this. And I was like, why are they contesting it? I'm not working right now. I can prove to you I'm not working. I was like, no, they are contesting, because there's this and reason. Yeah. So I actually went to, it was in, for those who are familiar with the area, the office was in Wheaton.
Yes.
It was in Wheaton. It seems you've been there too.
But
yeah, so I was like, I thought it was just a routine thing. We are going there, and this thing is resolved, and they're giving me back my money.
Apana.
Yeah, so I went there.
Meet and greet, and that chap from HR is there saying,
and I kutana with HR, and wamenigeuka.
No. You meet and
they used to be so nice.
With a Tabitha there, please.
Yeah,
let's get it right.
When I was working, they used to be so nice.
HR personnel.
They used to be so nice.
Hi, how are you?
There were two of them. I said hi to them. They did not even respond to me because we met in the waiting area.
Enemies.
Yeah, they did not even respond to me.
Focus.
So I think that to me that was a tough lesson. That was school fees that I paid. Nearly watch World Cup, but I mean, I was watching it on empty pockets. You know, like I was watching it and worrying, you know, like what's going to happen to me next. So yes, so I think it's very important for people to realize that.
So a Tabitha decided to.
Oh yeah. Two of them, not only one, two of them came.
They came like twins.
Yeah, they
double
came
doubles.
Yeah,
double.
One for the left, one for the right.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, son of a twang, guys.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, I know. So that's a very important lesson that.
So I think right now we should we're not trying to say that, you know, a Tabitha is what do you call them? HR and employment contestant.
Yeah.
But you'll meet a Tabitha.
Yeah, so unemployment, remember, when you are preparing for a layoff, remember that unemployment is not guaranteed.
And it will not come when you need it.
It will not come when you need it.
You have to wait. And depending on the state, come in Virginia, ask me.
Because you will meet a Tabitha.
Yes, and I think Washeke was talking about the emergency fund. So I think that emergency fund is the most important thing. Sorry, not Tabitha, Washeke. Tabitha me to confuse hapa. Mbaka I'm thinking that she's in the session.
You're traumatized. PTSD.
PTSD. Vile Tabitha amesema that she was doing that. That was PTSD. You know, like kajasho kalinitoka. But Washeke, back to you.
Kuna PTSD ingine hapo huko nyuma. Huyo nyuma yako.
Yeah, Washeke, back to you.
Yeah, so that emergency fund is very important when you meet Tabitha, who opposes your, you know, disputes your unemployment claim. So if you don't have that, you know, tough times ahead. But then also start to think, like, as you're looking for another job, what can you do? And thank God now there's Uber Eats, Uber, Amazon is always hiring and they're paying well. So I think you have to be, at that point, you have to be open-minded.
Correct.
You know, you don't have to, I mean, you're looking for what you were doing before, but you have to be open-minded and take anything at that point. Yeah. So you're paying your bills and you don't end up in debt, because the worst thing that can happen is you're unemployed and you're accruing debt, because it's creating a hole that you're probably not going to be able to. So be open-minded in doing anything, and also be open-minded in taking advantage of the resources available. I know, like in Texas, we have, you know, the workforce office.
I think most states have that workforce.
Yeah. So you go there. If you haven't updated your resume, they will help you with the resume, help you with job interviewing skills. If you qualify for food stamp, if you have kids and need childcare, you have kids and you can't afford to pay childcare for them, you need childcare when you're looking for a job. There are those resources. Don't be ashamed. You know, that's why they're there, and you've been paying for them by being a taxpayer. You've been paying for them, so don't be ashamed. I know, like a lot of us, we don't believe in the handouts, and we never use those resources available to us. But
Correct.
don't be afraid. Use that as a safety net as you're trying to get a job. And also talk to people. Go to job fairs. The job fairs around. So go there. It might not be what you're looking for, but you never know. You might meet somebody who knows someone, and you get what you're looking for, or even something better. I know for some people, like for myself, I was laid off and my next job was better than I ever hoped for. So I think what I learned is just being open-minded and not being afraid of taking a risk. For me, I'm an introvert by nature. So I've always gravitated.
Ate what?
I'm an introvert, so I always, looking for things that I don't have to speak up. Public speaking is not my forte, but I really had to take risks, and thank God, because one of the teams that I worked for is one of the teams that was totally, everyone in that team was laid off this Monday. Wow. But because I took a risk, because I have a sponsor at work who saw my abilities and pushed me. Like the last 2 promotions, I never really applied. It's just my sponsor. And that's why I would go back to being present and networking. Because of that sponsor, something came up even before it was posted in our internal job site. he saw it, he talked to me about it, and what he told me is that I have forwarded your name. It's not like he was telling me to apply.
He was informing you.
He was just informing me, yes. So it's important, like, as going back, as much as we emphasize networking outside, networking inside is also very, very important. So, just being open-minded and taking a risk. Maybe you've always worked in finance, in banking, and you saw yourself retiring there, but maybe something has opened in healthcare and your skills are transferable. Be open-minded to that. Join job groups. There's one that I really like. It's called I can't think about it. When I think about it, I'll write.
Is it like a Facebook group?
Yes.
Okay.
Slay helped me.
Okay.
It's called Black on the Job.
Okay, Black
it's
on the Job.
It's a Facebook group.
Yeah. And
the reason I like it has a lot of resources, because not only it shows you, like, if you are a teacher, it shows you what skills you have that are transferable to another industry. Because sometimes we always think that I've worked in healthcare, I can only work in healthcare. But they're like, what are the skills? They help you to identify the skills that you have and how you can transfer them to another industry and move in and up and make more money. So be open to joining all these platforms that are available. There's so many platforms for free, but you have to be willing to put in the time. I mean, Slay and I, every Wednesday we're there listening, because they bring different professionals, and right now they're really focusing. They're helping people to come up with a way to jumpstart your career if you're laid off, or your plans, because layoffs are happening everywhere. I mean, they started in tech last year, but they're happening everywhere. And in my industry, I work in asset management, and our revenues have been down because of the markets. We've seen in my industry layoffs happening. So, I mean, it could spill over to all other areas as everybody tightens their belts. And how when Ali hears that so-and-so was laid off, then the next thing will say, I buy Starbucks 5 days a week. I'm going to reduce that to 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Or I go out to eat. So, we'll start spending less. And that, obviously, as we know, 60% of the American economy is, us spending money. The whole economy will be affected. So I think it's if you have a job and you feel if it's secure, I think it's time to upskill, get those certifications, make sure you have an emergency fund, make sure you're saving in your retirement fund, make sure you are maxing out your HSA, because let's say you lose your job and you fall sick. If you have HSA funds, you don't lose them like FSA. So if you're in a healthcare plan that has a HSA, make sure you're saving to the maximum allowed every year, because if you fall sick and you're out of a job, it will help you to pay for your healthcare. And I like it because you're also reducing your taxable income. Any money that's saved there, Uncle Sam is not going to be taxing you on it.
Yeah, and I think, just to pause you there, Kidogo Asheke, there's a part of, like expenses you talked about, like someone, like buying Starbucks, like every day a week. I think what you need to do when things are okay, because you cannot start making these plans when the layoff has happened, when your job is okay right now, you need to have a plan of expenses that you'll cut, like without, like crazily affecting your life. There's certain things that just have a list, like, cable will go. You of course can't cut off your cell phone plan. You of course can't cut off your internet plan. So you can just have a list of items that you're paying that, that if this layoff happens, tomorrow I'm picking up the phone and I'm cutting this, because it will shock you when you try to find out how much you spend just on, especially on these things that you subscribe on. When you, like get some perspective from an app like Mint, or an app like, there's quite a number of apps, I can't remember the other one, but there's quite a number of apps that will show you, that will give you a summary of what you're spending. It's going to give you a list of your of your subscriptions. There's some subscriptions that you don't even remember that you have. That gym that you used to live close to, that you went to once and signed up because they were serving cookies and they were serving some juice, and you signed there, and they told you, it's going to be 3 months free. Then after that 3 months, you never called to cancel it.
Off, yeah. And you're paying a loose $8.99 every month.
Every month for the last 4 years. So those are the things that that I'm talking about that you need to be on top of and to monitor. And then having a side hustle that you can quickly activate when the layoff happens, because this is what happens. In my close to 20 years in America, I've been laid off twice, so I have some experience in this sector. The worst thing that happens when you get laid off is not even being laid off. It's now the fact that now everything starts coming at you fast. Things that were so normal, now start looking crazy. Like rent is the most important thing, or a mortgage if you have a mortgage. And then maybe you have a car payment. You have insurance. All these other things. So what happens when you're laid off, you start getting desperate. It takes you a very short time when that fast paycheck doesn't come in. It takes you a very short time to start seeing things going south. So now you're desperate and you are very likely to take up a job that you should not be taking. You're now ready. Unasema, mazee hata kama ni McDonald's, mi ndaingia nifanye kazi. Now you're starting to have a gap in your resume. And what that does, this significantly affects your future earnings for a very long time. But when you are prepared, you have an emergency fund, you have a side hustle that you can quickly activate, and you're networking, so you're not really worried about, like paying your rent or paying your mortgage. Things are moving. You'll be in a good state of mind to not take some job that you should not be taking, and then potentially affecting your future earning for a very, very long time, which is something that actually happened to me. And that's the reason, yes, I took a lesser job, and then now it becomes difficult to start explaining in future, like why, like what happened here, why are there gaps here? So those are the things that you have to mentally be prepared for. Have especially that side hustle that you can activate. Just think about activating, and by something that you can activate immediately, it means that it should be something that you're politely engaging in while you still have your good job. Of course, that side hustle is not giving you as much money as your job, but you're just doing it occasionally. Kama ni Amazon Flex, maybe once in a month, like you go out and do it just to scope out what's working. Kama ni Instacart, DoorDash, you're just doing it such that when this thing happens, you're not scrambling to know how to start or what to download. You can literally start the following day as you're busy there, like looking for something else. Washeke, we want to wrap this up. What's your, how do I put it? What's your final piece of advice that you want to give to people who are out there working a good job, the employee of the month, they think they will never get laid off? What piece of advice do you have for them?
And before Asheke speaks, sorry to cut you off. Stephen Badawy says, and also people should normalize using coupons.
Yep.
Now, coupons
actually save you a lot, and they've made it so much easier.
By the way, no.
These days it's so easy.
And I think Kenyan community, I don't know. Coupons.
But here's the danger of using coupons.
Okay.
And this is what coupons are designed to do. They're designed for you to buy things that you would normally not have bought.
Okay.
So yes, they're designed to do that. So specifically, even whenever you buy something and then that coupon prints, you'll notice it's not something that you regularly, and it's not something that you regularly buy. But sasa mtu anaweza kuona one maze hii toothpaste ina kanzuri. You already have 27 tubes of toothpaste at home. You're like, let me go back.
Why do you have 27?
I just picked a random number.
He went to a Costco and he had been buying that 5-pack so that he can take it to Kenya because ile Colgate ya Kenya na
but now,
and he just forgot.
Ama unajua zile ice cream zile wazinauzwa Giant, zile zinaitwa Magnum. Not the condoms.
Yes. They are very, very,
very nice. Very nice.
Ailewi.
Yes.
Ailewi.
Yeah, he doesn't know these things. Yeah, he doesn't know these things.
Go to the store,
yes,
look for Magnum ice creams.
Magnum ice cream.
You'll come back and thank us.
So utapata hiyo coupon, you know, like buy two get the third one free. You're like, enyewe.
Wait, as I talking about Magnums.
No, ice cream.
Yeah,
ice cream, boss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Magnum ice cream.
Look for this in your local store, you know, but don't do impulse buying. But that's where that's how for coupons, like these grocery stores. My first job in the US was in Target and also in Giant, a grocery store. These grocery stores are deliberately designed in such a way. We used to sit in these meetings where they would say that, you know, like if we move this product here, like it's gonna move faster, and it works. Like you'd see it working. You'd see a product that has sat on the shelf just by moving it from here to this section to close to where people are checking out. You see people buying it. Utakuta mtu ananunua Coke kale kadogo pale kwa checkout, that's $1.35. That small one, yet that big 1.5 liter in the shelf is 99 cents. In the same supermarket. Now your Coke, because it's convenient, you can hold it, you know, you can feel, you know, the cold. Yeah. So you buy it for a higher price. So those are the small things that people need
apparently
to
that Magnum is what?
No, Magnum, yeah, that's some solid
it's
ice cream.
crack ice cream.
Yeah.
Trust
It's
me.
ice cream. It's the best ice cream. I think it's Belgium ice cream. It's very good.
Yeah, it's
I know
amazing.
this is found in stores.
Boss,
Hey,
where have
boss.
you been?
Where have you been? Where can you just arrived in America? What's wrong with you? Can you don't buy ice cream?
No, I don't have a sweet tooth.
It's actually like
I don't have a sweet tooth.
Dairyland. It's like not even Dairyland.
Lion's Made.
It's like Lion's Made.
Yeah. This guy just goes to supermarket to buy nyama, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then aili ya nyama, and that's it.
Nyama ni sawa. Hizi mambo ya ice cream. Na wache
So
wase
had
wako
we
na
asked,
sweet tooth.
had we asked him about Boiro products, what he needs to work in the nini?
Those he would have known.
Okay.
But you gotta try some of these finer things in life.
Go outside your comfort zone. I mean, what Sheikh has been telling you about this. You know, do
So
that.
Magnum is finer things in life.
Ice cream.
It's outside.
Yeah.
Magnum,
yes.
a Magnum is
Ice
finer
cream.
things
Yeah.
in life.
Again, ice cream.
Washeke please. Tumaliza tuzijui na madhuiti.
So to summarize, I would say is always have a positive mind, regardless of what's happening. Two, I think at the minimum, you should sit with, you know, Tabitha once a year or a career coach once a year to go over, you know, your career. Even when you're like setting up your goals, I mean, organizations require you to have goals for the year, and you know, at the end of the year you review them. But so it's good to sit up with your a career coach, talk about, you know, what are your plans for the year, and see how they can help you if you're thinking of transitioning to a different part of the industry. What skills do you have transferable? Do you need to take additional certifications? Also, I believe at a minimum, try to, you know, take one certification a year. It doesn't have to take long. It can be, you know, taking 2-3 months. Take advantage of any trainings that are happening in your farm. There's so many that are sponsored. You don't have to spend any money, but a lot of us employees, you don't take advantage of that. And make sure you participate in your, you know, organization's Black employee group. There's so many resources right now. You know, D&I is booming right now, so there are a lot of money and resources being thrown to Black employees in corporate America. Right now, I've been sponsored to do a course with McKinsey because of that. So just if you in those
McKinsey, the consultancy company.
Yes,
and they pay a lot of money.
So if you were and the reason I happen to know about that is because I'm a co-chair of a Black employee resource group in, you know, my location. Something that I push myself, I push myself to be in that role so that I can improve my public speaking skills and presentation skills. So just take a risk. I wouldn't have known about that if I wasn't part of the leadership or an active member, because there are active members who are also being given the opportunity. So be an active member. That's the only way you will know about all these things that are going on. But if you just go to work, You will never know. You'll see people moving on, and you're better worker than them, but because they're doing better networking, they're playing the politics games at work, you're missing out. So corporate America is all about, politics, not just your work, politics, they go hand in hand. So you have to play that game to advance.
Okay, all right. Asante sana. Uno.
Wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo akina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia nanga. We are about to wrap this puppy up.
So, do we give the last word to our guest? See how our guest starts.
Yeah, but before that, I think we should read some of these comments because over here, it looks like there's some guys.
Should do that.
You guys have introduced me to something that I did not know.
Boss.
No, I did not know. No.
Finer things in life. Finer things in life.
I did not know. So, E-Magnum.
The ice cream.
The ice cream.
Artist Stephen Batty says, Magnum is crack ice cream. Stay away. Louis C. Muya, who, by the way, a pal of his, we work together. Uko Jobo. Na ni mzee wa Jamaica. So alikuwa ananiongea actually, I'm like, boss, tunajuana. Louis ni boy wangu. Magnum and Häagen-Dazs. Cocaine disguised as ice cream, too addictive. No, it was brought in the USA from Britain 10 years ago. They had very risky ads in Britain. I know that case. I have no idea.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
No, we'll teach you. We'll teach you our ways.
If you're an ice cream person or you liked Lion's Made growing up,
not really. But I mean,
then you're not missing out.
No, I'm not missing out. But you guys are missing out.
Boss.
No. Us guys,
we know that life.
We know.
We know that life. Yeah.
You know that life.
Those coupons that Ali's talking about, buy one get one free.
Yeah, those
they're reduced to 3 for what?
Yeah,
10.
Those coupons, man.
But you see, I understand that thing of couponing because see, there's a show sometimes that
there's some extreme couponers.
Extreme couponing.
Yeah,
these guys have got stacks and stacks of mouthwash. They've got stacks and stacks of those Clorox, my cleansers.
Yeah. There was a house that when I was searching for a house to purchase some years back, there was a house I went into, and in the basement they had this room, which was almost like a grocery store. Like, the way a house is being sold.
Yeah.
The owners are still in.
Yeah.
And it was so well organized. Ilikuwa na shelves na kila kitu.
Shelves.
No, like it was like a supermarket.
Yeah, like exactly.
So the lady of items, toothpaste, like everything, like easy tomato paste. So they told me, like this is something, it's a hobby they have, and so when they need something, they go down there, they buy stuff that's not perishable or stuff that the expiry date is further out until they need it. Then they buy items that they know they're gonna use. So when they go shopping, when they need something, they go down there. They don't go to the supermarket. When they're going to the supermarket, is just after collecting
perishables
coupons.
And whatever.
So they collect coupons, and then when they go to the supermarket, whatever they're buying, they know that at some point they'll need it in future. They don't need it right now. So that's a lot of work. It does save a lot of money.
But wamejipanga. And it's a lifestyle. It's not something you just start.
It's a lifestyle.
It's an actual lifestyle. Yeah. I know somebody who actually does that. And just like Ali said, ukienda kwake, you can literally go shopping kwake. Na uni mtu fanya zile, hata kabla wa buy TV, wanaenda wanasoma consumer reviews, sijui nini, and when they go buy something, they'll buy the one that's the best bang for their buck with the most ratings, sijui nini, and it's the cheapest, lakini...
There's
okay.
There's ways of doing this.
Twende kazi.
So thank you to our guests. We had 2 guests over here who have chanuad us, one in real estate and the other one on things life and organizing thyself from from an employment perspective all the way to unemployment na kuweka do na kujipanga. We thank you. And, without you guys, our listeners, we would not be here. This is, it's Yakamkunji, and we ask you we are reaching out to you guys and saying, what else do you want to know? What else do you want us to talk about? What are the subjects or the things that are basically tickling your fancy, and how is it that we can meet that in this new year of 2023? So have a good week, have a good weekend. Happy Valentine's to our peeps out there, and my funny Valentine unajijua. So happy Valentine, and see you guys next week.
All right, asante sana Omosh. Now next week, before I forget, or actually let's go to Washeke first, and then I'll wrap this up. Washeke, your last words, and your Washeke and assistant.
Yes, Washeke and assistant.
Yeah.
Come to your name.
Wow, assistant is so excited.
She's not even saying anything.
She's so excited to be part of the OneMic Show.
You can chew gum without smacking. I'm just saying.
So, first I want to thank you guys. I found you during the pandemic when everything was shut down. That's when I found the OneMic Show, and it's been a blessing. It's very informative. So I want to commend you. This is sacrifice every Friday, being here, researching on the topic, so you can share the information you're sharing. It's not easy, so I commend you guys. Keep it up. And we want to support you this year financially, not just watching. So mwanze kuweka cash up hapo, hata kama ni kuwanunulia chai. So
it's coming.
I think we should start doing that. Secondly, I think I have a suggestion. Today we've been talking about land, and a lot of us, when we are talking about investments, we are always thinking about land. But the reason a lot of foreigners are in Kenya is startups in technology and different areas. So if we can find someone who can talk to us about startups, someone knowledgeable, like we had Anne today, we would really appreciate. Yes. And we would, have questions, because, we want to be diversified. Land it plays an important role in a portfolio, but we want a diversified portfolio. So, if we can find someone who can talk to us about startup opportunities available in Africa, not just Kenya, because Africa is the next frontier. Everybody's, looking for Africa for the next big Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, etc. And with that, I will see you guys next Friday.
Yes, and talking about Asante Sana Washeke, your presence here was definitely very valuable. And we want to be doing more of this.
Assistant is
next time, the assistant is also going to participate. Tell her to think about what topic she wants to talk about. No pressure, assistant. No pressure. Just think about a topic you want to talk about.
Can I brag a little bit about my assistant?
Oh, of course, definitely.
Yeah, so this week, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. So she came home and she told me she had been called to the principal's office. Background, so the principal and vice principal, they know her by name. So not because she's naughty or anything, but she's very vocal, and is not afraid to challenge or articulate when it's something that she's not happy. So the school is looking at improving the different classes they have, discovery classes, so music, STEM, and PE. And they were talking to all grade levels. My daughter is in second grade, and they chose to speak to her. And that's the reason she was in the principal's office this week. And when she told me, so I was concerned, is something happened in school and I needed to know. So I reached out to the principal, and she told me, oh no, the reason why I reached out to her is because she can articulate herself and is very clear and concise like an adult. So that's me bragging a little bit about my daughter.
Wow.
So,
congratulations, assistant. Wow. Keep it up, assistant.
Thank you.
So it's a reminder, parents, if you have a strong-willed child, sometimes nataka kuambia mtoto afanye kitu na afanye. You don't want to be asked 10,000 questions. Just encourage them to have divergent views. And, when they want to challenge you and debate with you, don't crush their spirits.
Okay. Like in some of those divergent views, they need to be discussed. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But now, you know, talk to assistant. Tell her to think about a topic that she's comfortable with.
Not divergent.
Please, not divergent.
No, but just a topic. It's okay, because I think she can also challenge us. She can also challenge the way we think. You know, think about, no pressure right now, assistant. You don't have to think about it right now, but think about one, tell mom, and we are going to schedule some time for you one of these good Fridays.
And you shall be a subject matter expert.
Yes. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. And talking about next Friday, Big Ted, Balozi Big Ted is going to be on the OneMic Show.
Are you serious?
Yes. And even the OneMic crew is finding out now. You know, that's how much we love you.
Kwaka is going to be here.
Yes.
Zoom.
Yani ule jama.
Yes.
Ted.
Yes, Big Ted. Yeah. It's going to be live on the OneMic Show. It's going to be talking about LA7s that's coming up. And it's also going to be talking about the consular services that the embassy is providing, the LA consulate is providing. And of course, they will be present in Dignity Health Sports Park in Las Vegas for those who want to renew their IDs and do all that
Las
stuff.
Vegas?
Los
Angeles.
You know what I meant.
No, Las Vegas.
You know what I meant.
Los Angeles.
You know what I meant.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, I meant.
You said Las Vegas.
I meant
It was Los Angeles.
I meant Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant Los Angeles. I mean, as long as you understand that. So they're gonna be there. And
so there'll be consular services that are provided at the the stadium.
So I don't know whether it's full 100% consular service, but there is some services that they will be providing at the stadium.
Wale watu wa kurenew ka passporti, ka ID, sijui nini mubebane.
So hao watu wote, they have to stay tuned until next week. Ndio
tutawaelezea vile wanaza nini na si ati lazima they get sijui an appointment and sijui I don't know nani.
So all that they're gonna find out next week. When Big Ted is live here on the OneMic Show. All right. And the People's Kamkundi. So you guys are the first ones to know.
So another Pacherian. Carry on.
Anyway, now you've killed the buzz. It was.
Oh, the buzz is on point like a decimal cent.
Anyway,
how did this become about Patch?
I don't even know. No, it's okay. I don't even know. But
you can't listen, boss. You can't change the fact that
that Patch has been dispatched.
No, ni sawa tu. You know, us guys, when we used to go to Funkies, we used to change the trousers we used to have. These guys, they would just take those old trousers and patch them up, and that's why they were called Pacherians. Na kwa hayo machache, yeyote atakaye kunipigia simu, nambari yangu ni 1-800 mteule. Operator akitaka kushika simu, mwambie unataka kusema na mjukuu, na akikuuliza ni mjukuu yupi, mkumbushe ni mjukuu yule wa Masai. Because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui, na sibagui. Kwaherini.
Washeke, thank you so much. Thank you. I know you're still on air over there. Nakuona. Thank you. Aiden, Daddy loves you. Jerry, Daddy loves you. Nemo, Daddy loves you. Until next week, be blessed. DJ Machachari Boda Boss, tafadhali, take us out down.
Tukimaliza rudi kwako, sio wako, ni wetu, sio wako.